Hey guys, how's it going? About time we cook some dinner together. And once again, I'm going to do another quick weeknight meal. I've become addicted to these things. They're just everything's so easy. It's almost everything that you would have in your cupboard, or your fridge, or anybody that cooks even remotely at home. Most 30-minute meals you can throw together pretty quick and have the stuff to do it. So tonight we're going to take what is basically an American classic, created in the 70s, and turn it into, and we're going to do it home cook style with Hamburger Helper. It's the cheesy Hamburger Helper that you bought when I was a kid, that my mom bought. There was like two options at the time, this one and the stroganoff. And I found this recipe online and was like, oh, this is just awesome. Why not? Quick, easy. I know not everybody in my house cares for the boxed Hamburger Helper, but that in and of itself, those add a pound of hamburger or chicken or whatever to meals, they come in and, in a pinch, great. This doesn't take much longer. This whole thing won't take less than 30 seconds, or 30 minutes. I'll probably spend more time talking to you than we will actually cooking. But it was made for a quick, fast weeknight meal that was filling, stuck with you. The store-bought ones, probably not the healthiest for you, packed full of some preservative stuff like this, where all this stuff is fresh, and you know what's in it. There is no things you can't pronounce. That's awesome. So at any rate, I really thought I wanted to, this would be a good one for us to try, because I think the family will be pleased on this one. I know I'm going to be pleased on this one. We like everything that's in it. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is your first video. I hope you get something out of this one and you check out some of my other ones. We're food. That's it. Food and community. That's the basis of this whole channel. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Notification bells right next to the subscription box. That way you know when my videos come out if you're so inclined. If you're returning, thank you. I don't take your time for granted. The fact you spend something with me that you will never be able to get back absolutely just is mind-blowing, and it makes me feel so warm inside. I know that sounds sappy, but it's true. So anyhow, from scratch Hamburger Helper, made at home, 30-ish minutes, and we'll be ready to eat. So let's get down to the counter and we'll start cooking. All right, hold on for me 1 second. Okay, so just like every other recipe, I've got it written down here in the notebook, which I've got to go through and separate recipes into different notebooks. So I've got so many different variations, it's getting difficult to find them on a daily basis. So anyhow, recipe, if we like it, we keep it as is. If we think we can modify it, which especially when it comes to cooking dinners, I modify a lot on the next go around. First go around, I try to stay as close as I can to the original recipe. This one came from, I really wish I could start remembering people. I need to write it down up here, but I'll put it down like right in there somewhere, so that way you have it. And it's really simple. So first thing you need, you're gonna need a pot. The recipe called for a Dutch oven. I don't have a Dutch oven quite big enough because I've made this recipe a little bigger than what it originally called for. So first things we need to do, we need to make sure our Dutch oven or our stock pot is hot, and we're gonna add to it, I am putting in 1.5 pounds of hamburger. Now I did this recipe 1.5 times the original recipe. So the original recipe called for 1 pound of hamburger. I'm putting 1.5 in here. I've got 1 large onion. It did not specify a onion size. And then the greatest gift of all to mankind, thanks to a dirty little pig, bacon. And these are all chopped. This is just chopped. It's just chopped up into little pieces, right? And my onion is chopped, not diced, just chopped. You can make it as big or small as you want on all of this. We're gonna throw this in here, just like such, and then we're gonna let this cook for about 12 to 15 minutes. We want to brown the hamburger, all right? Soften the onion and render the bacon. So once all three of those things happen, then we can move on to what we need to add to it next. So I'll get this taken care of, and when I come back, we'll start moving on. All right, be right back. Okay, so we've got our bacon rendered, beef is browned, and our onions are soft and getting translucent. So the next ingredient we gotta add is just some minced garlic. 4 or 5 small cloves, 3 or 4 big cloves. A lot of this will be completely up to you and your taste. I mean, really, that's kind of how it works. And like I said, I've got those minced up, throwing them in. We're gonna let these cook for about a minute together, and then we can start dumping in a bunch of ingredients. Okay, so we let our garlic get to know everybody in the pot for about a minute or so. Yeah, it's getting fragrant, it's smelling good. So the next things we need to add to this is going to be 3 cups of beef broth, and it's about 3/4 of this box. And I'm just gonna kind of rough guess it, but it's 3 cups of beef broth. That feels about right. And then we are going to add, so do I get the lid on that? I mean, we can always add more to it if it gets too thick, but we got more liquids. After our 3 cups of beef broth, I am going to put 15 ounces, 1 small can of tomato sauce. We are going to add 1 tablespoon of hot sauce. Now it can be hot sauce, your choice. I've got like 6 different hot sauces in the fridge depending on what we're cooking and who we are. And tonight I am using Louisiana hot sauce. But if you've got like a favorite Mexican hot sauce or just a Tabasco sauce in general, whatever you like is up to you. So it will be up to you. So we're gonna go ahead and get that stirred up real quick. And then we are going to add some spices. Good spices are always helpful. I have got in this little container here 1.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and 2 teaspoons of pepper, right? Yep, of just regular old ground pepper. If you have fresh ground pepper, great. I just use a coarse ground pepper. That way it looks like fresh ground pepper, and it still has its flavor. So we're gonna get that in there, give that a good stir, just like such. Then the last thing we gotta add this go around is 3/4 cup of heavy cream. Right in the pot, right there. So now all we have to do is bring this to a simmer, and then we'll add our pasta. Okay, so we've got it up to a good simmer. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add 16 ounces, 1 box of macaroni noodles. I'm using a large macaroni noodles. That's what the recipe called for. But you can use any small noodle that you like. You just don't want to use like a spaghetti noodle. I mean, you could if that's all you had, really. But it plays a trick on your mind, according to the little intro on the recipe that I found. It can make you not think it's quite correct, but you could use it. You could use any pasta you'd like. It just recommends a smaller pasta, like we've been using lately in a lot of our dishes. So now we're just going to let this simmer for about 8 minutes until the noodles are al dente. I mean, and you're basically going to follow the directions on the back of the box of pasta that you use. Is it'll tell you how long to cook it for. So in this case, even though the recipe says 8 minutes, for me to get it al dente to firm, it's 6 to 7 minutes. So I'll probably let it go about 6-7 minutes, check them, see how firm they are, and then if I need to, I'll let it go just a little long and go to that full 8 minutes. Okay, so we've been boiling or simmering for about 7 minutes. And I went a little less time only because it's still going to continue to cook for a few more minutes, and I want them to be good and solid. Okay, so the last things we need to add to this is cheese. So it called for 8 ounces of mild cheddar cheese and a quarter pound of American cheese, which would be 4 ounces. And so I've got them right here, and I've got them sliced up. And we just have to add it a little bit at a time, right? And stir it in until it melts, and then we'll add some more. It should only take a couple minutes, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll and eat. Okay, our cheese is melted, and so I went ahead and turned the stove top off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this off of the burner, and there is our beautiful looking dish, even though the right there looks just like Hamburger Helper, which is crazy. It smells divine, but I'm gonna get this off the stovetop, let it rest for a couple minutes like we do with everything else. That way it doesn't melt our face off trying to eat it right away. And when I come back, we'll dish some up and give it a try. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so we let that sit for about 5-10 minutes. It's still got plenty of heat to it, and we're doing some green beans with it and some bread. Yeah, you could do corn in a salad, you could do just a salad, you could do just corn or just green beans. Yeah, I know traditionally growing up, whenever we had a Hamburger Helper, we always had it with bread and butter, and corn was more common than not because that was something in our house that everybody liked. But you know, that's what we usually had with it, or occasionally Mom would get the stuff to make a salad. We never bought the pre-made salad stuff that you would buy now in the store, you know, like the bag salads. That just wasn't a thing. It was a unnecessary expense when you could use the lettuce to do multiple things with it, even like the carrots and stuff like that with, because like the lettuce you could use it next go around for hamburgers, you know, what you didn't chop up for salads. So then the last thing we're going to do after we get that plated is just put some fresh chives on it, because why not? You could also put some fresh parsley on it if you'd like. But right there is tonight's dinner, served fit for a king. So now all we got to do is just give it a try, right? So let me get you up here where I can see your smiling face, because I miss seeing your face. It's like you're always just staring, whoa, at what I'm cooking, and you know, we don't ever get to look eye to eye while we cook. That'll change someday. I'm trying to save up for a wide angle lens, so like any pies, cakes, cupcakes, cheesecakes that we sell, that stuff goes to a multitude of things to grow the business, but it also helps to grow the YouTube channel. So like when you guys buy cheesecakes or cakes or pies off of me, or cupcakes or whatever, that just goes, it gets recycled back into buying stuff to make more things, but it goes into the YouTube channel, it goes into buying things for the remodel, it goes into a lot, you know, a little bit here and there, but yeah, a little bit at a time, and that way, you know, I can, it frees me up to do a little more, you know, but I don't solely rely on the money made from the bakery to do all that with, but that's a good chunk of it. But anyhow, down to the important stuff. What does this taste like? Does it taste like Hamburger Helper? Because it smells great and it looks delicious. So we will see. First bite, unless of course you would like it. Okay, if you insist, I'll eat the first bite. I'll be darned. That really does taste like Hamburger Helper. Granted, it's been a while since I've had Hamburger Helper, but if memory serves me right, that tastes just like, you know, cheesy macaroni and hamburger. That's quite impressive. That's a good dish. I like it. And it took no time flat at all to make. That is a great weeknight meal. I wouldn't add any more salt to it, any more pepper. I would make that just like it is. And if you make it just like it is, it's leftovers. Saves you a fortune at the grocery store. You know, with the way things are now and the price of groceries and inflation being so funny, you know, up, down, left, right, center, leftovers are God bless, you know, hands down. You can, if you make 3 to 4 meals a week, you could have a leftover night, which would give you 5 days worth of meals. Only have to make 4, or if you're home, like Chris works from home, you can use some of that to supplement for lunches. So now you're not only are you not having to buy a lunch every day or make a lunch every day, buy stuff for lunches. You have a lunch, you have a little leftover that 1 or 2 nights you can do leftover nights, which is awesome, and saves you a fortune at the grocery store. That's something nobody ever talks about. Leftovers are a godsend. Remember that. And this whole meal, $10. Tops, maybe 15 at most, and that's going to feed 6 people and give us leftovers. You can't beat that, not at all. So give this a try. If you do, let me know down in the comments below, or check us out on the Facebook page, Mr. Smith's Kitchen Facebook group, and you can leave us a comment there. Send us, put pictures on there if you want, if you make this or any of the other dishes, or if you've got a recipe you want to share. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I haven't posted on there in a few days, but I try to post as regularly as possible. So does Chris. But it'd be nice to see if you guys make this, or have a one you make. All the same. All right, so tomorrow we are going to do I can't wait, I'm so excited, a banana pudding cheesecake. Classic 1970s dish, probably older than that I'm aware of. I know it's been around since the 70s. My mom made it as a kid. This is kind of like a tribute to moms from my generation's moms. She used to make banana pudding, not all the time, but quite frequently, and it was a quick, easy dessert that was so good. It was Nilla wafers, it was vanilla pudding, and cut up bananas, and you topped it with some whipped topping, and and it was the most amazing dessert. And we're going to turn it into a cheesecake tomorrow. I think it'll go over well, but we'll find out. So till tomorrow for cheesecake, I'm going to go get all this over to the table so I can have a conversation with my family, and I hope you do the same. I love you. I love you very much. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it, and I never take you guys for granted or the time you spend with me and we spend together. Tell somebody else you love them and that you love them very much. It's going to make them feel better. It's going to make you feel better to tell them, especially if you make them some of this homemade Hamburger Helper and share. It's going to be a conversation starter that could lead to a whole evening of conversations and good times. So until tomorrow for banana pudding cheesecake, I'll see you then. All right, I love you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.